Free Skaro!
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Radio Free Skaro, episode number 813. I am Stephen in Edmonton.
Warren in Vancouver.
And Chris in Edmonton.
I read the number of that episode completely blind. I was on a different tab when I started that, and that's the most scared I've ever felt in a live situation since like our Gallifrey One live show when Patricia Quinn came out. Yeah, I was like, oh my god, we're flying by the seats of the pants. I could have got the number wrong. I didn't.
Patricia Quinn is the most scared you will ever be in a live situation.
No, I loved that bit. No, the most scared. Well, what's the most scared I've been in a live situation? Literally every time that I announce a guest about to come on stage during the live show, not knowing if that person's actually going to walk up stage. That's the terrifying thing.
But also, you've worked the Stanley Cup, not in front of people, but you've still done it. So that's got some moments of terror.
Yeah, but you know what? That's not. I didn't do a lot. I didn't do a lot during the Stanley Cup playoffs here in 2020, but I did still some. You know, you could see it. Probably listen. More people saw my work in a wide shot of the arena in 2020 when the NHL Stanley Cup bubble was here. Literally millions of people around the world saw my work, and only a few hundred people at Gallifrey One saw me just in terror, wondering if Jimmy V was actually backstage. Spoiler alert: he was not backstage. Whatever year that was.
That was a cavalcade of a year. Was that the one where Nick Abadzis and Rachel Studd, who we are forever in the debt of, just kept going? And
they were great. It was a fun segment.
They were fantastic, yes.
Jimmy V, I nevertheless met the Saturday, so the next night.
Yeah.
Really interesting guy.
Him and Katrin Stewart were supposed to be that last panel on that one Gallifrey One live show, and they never showed, and so we had a extended time with Nick and Rachel, and it was a lot of fun. That's where Rachel Stott said, "How would you draw a woman doctor?" Exactly and she said, "With boobs," and that was
brilliant.
That works.
She said it a lot better than you just said it, though. It was. I know. The inflection was perfect.
It was. It's very good. Anyway, we hope you're doing well here on planet Earth, unless, of course, you're listening to this in the future, and you might be maybe Jeff Bezos is listening to this, sailing around.
Pay your workers fairly, Jeff. Come on, future Jeff, do it.
I was thinking, because Warren and I have been talking about Star Trek Deep Space Nine, which I do believe, actually, I do have the results in the lab here, and yep, it is the best Star Trek ever made.
Yep, that's true.
Confirmed.
Science.
Yeah. Is that like all this money he's wasting to fly into space for like 7 minutes or something like that? Right. And really, what he could be doing, it's a drop in the bucket for him to pay people to get the audio reels of all the film rushes of Deep Space Nine that are in one location and all the film rushes that are in another location.
I was waiting for
and
this.
Mix them up together and redo the special effects to be in HD, because we desperately need to have Deep Space Nine in HD.
I agree.
Yeah. It's tragic. I just finished watching Next Generation for the first time in 20 years. It's on Netflix. They have the Blu-ray rips, basically the HD up-res for all these things with the redone special effects. It does look great, and I realized, oh my god, this looks great. And it took me a few episodes in to realize, right, they remastered these for Blu-ray, and then you go back to what it looks like the SVHS original masters for Deep Space Nine on Netflix. And
True.
It's
but having said that, as I'm doing it now, I'm finally on season 7, and this is almost new to me because I haven't watched it in so long. You just don't care after about 5 minutes. You just start watching and you forget that it's an SD. It'd be nice if it was an HD, but
I agree. It would pop them. Starting to watch Blake 7 on BritBox now that I'm done.
Another very SD
TNG
show.
Yeah, but it looks great though. I love it.
Why aren't those being upgraded to HD? Oh, wait a minute.
Have you gotten past episode 4 of that, Warren?
Yeah, I believe on episode 6 now. So.
Oh yeah, 6 is good. That's Seek, Locate, Destroy. I believe.
And I skipped past the yelling guys. So Also, Deep Space Nine. I skipped past the what's that one where Quark has a sex change? It's very embarrassing.
Profit and Lace. Yeah,
it's not good. It starts problematic and it just goes right downhill from there. And I was like, I don't have to watch all this.
Yeah,
skip it to the next episode.
We were going along so great. I thought, you know what, Deep Space Nine, I'm gonna just skip right past that one. There's much better stuff ahead. I'm just gonna say no. Why ruin this experience? Why?
Yeah.
Spill,
I'm happy I skipped it.
Spill wine on the carpet. Anyway, on this here episode of Radio Free Skaro, part 3 of our State of Decay commentary. I wonder what scene or a bit of dialogue or scenario from this episode of a commentary we recorded some time ago will be used for the title of this episode you're listening to right now.
If any of it.
If any. Who knows? We haven't got a title for it yet. So you're listening to the brainstorming session of
congratulations
of our title. Who knows what it's going to be? By the end of the episode, obviously there'll be one, but there ain't one now. But we do have like 2 whole days to come up with this because we're recording this on Friday night. I say this as if we deliberate over the weekend on an episode title. Once we get off the call,
we have on occasion.
Oh, but have we? Maybe we'd sort of get off the call and say, oh, right, we have to do an episode title.
That's basically how we deliberate, yeah.
What do we call this stupid episode? And then like 2 years later, we look down. Oh, let's look through the archives when we talked about that thing one time. We look on there and go, what does this title even mean? What were we even talking about?
Absolutely nothing.
No.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Or more importantly, when we use a title very facetiously or frivolously, and then a few years down the line, we do something where that title would really be good.
And we've used it already.
We used
in
it
a dumb way.
Yeah, I know. I've sometimes thought about like just abolishing the titles, but no, but that
absolutely
didn't
not.
Go very far. Mostly because I think we would run it. I do have to Google them whenever we choose them. We always have to go. Let's go back. Do we use this already?
And soon to be 13 of them. So I mean, yes, of course you do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the first few didn't have titles though, so I think we're doing okay. I don't know what that means. We have yet to repeat ourselves, basically. Listen, Doctor Who repeated themselves when they named story titles unofficially. The Daleks and the Daleks and the Mutants and all that. So there's how many? There's Invasion, which is part 1 of Invasion of the Dinosaurs. There's Invasion, which is part 5 of the Web Planet, and then there's The Invasion, which of course is The Invasion. So we're allowed to do it. We should just mess with people and just sort of say, yeah, we named this one, pick a random episode.
We always name this one Invasion - The Invasion.
Let's see if we remember that by the end of this recording.
Yeah, we probably won't.
Yeah. Hey, I don't know if you notice this, folks, but there's a worldwide pandemic still going on. Despite vaccines being readily available for large portions of the first world nations, at the very least, some people aren't deciding to take them or are unable to take them, and so we're still in this mess. So as a result, some places have decided to say, well, listen, if you aren't vaccinated, you aren't getting in. And this is exactly what Chicago TARDIS, amongst others, is instituting. Proof of vaccination or a negative COVID test within 72 hours of convention attendance will be required for you to attend Chicago TARDIS in Lombard, Illinois in November. This
good
follows
for them,
on.
Says. Good for them.
I also say this now that the FDA,
CDC would be the American Center for Disease Control, if that's what you're referring to.
I think so.
If you're talking about the approval, FDA.
The approval, yeah.
Oh, the FDA is the one doing drug approvals. Yes,
that's the one. The official approval
That's the D for drug.
Indeed, they officially approved the Pfizer vaccine, which means it makes it easier for corporations and other entities to institute mandated vaccine.
Probably makes it easier for their insurance companies to cover the costs as well.
That's probably what it is. So, upon that being announced, a whole bunch of companies and stuff says, guess what? Vaccines are mandatory to get into these things. And so Chicago TARDIS is doing that too.
I find it interesting, in a good way, that it's not just proof of a negative test. They're not taking over-the-counter tests. It has to be like an actual medical professional having administered the test and showing those results.
Which costs money, too. doesn't it? Like it's going to start.
Always, no.
It's going to start costing money.
There's lots of places that don't charge for that.
That's true, but it's going to be inconvenient. They're saying, you know what, just get the vaccine. Find something else to complain about. Come on.
Well, the whole idea is to make it inconvenient. It's just like France did that, and the uptick. Actually, here, whether it hasn't happened yet, there's been a big uptick in people looking into getting vaccinated and going out to get vaccinated, just because our government said in BC said, yeah, we're going to put this passport thing in place where you have to have it, and we're going to and the mask is back, baby. So, which happened a couple days ago.
Yeah.
So so it does push people to do the right thing.
Yep.
Stephen and I live in Alberta, where
Cowboy Town.
Basically the Wild West is pretty closed off compared to us.
I don't know. In the Wild West, they didn't generally take mallets to their head willingly and just smack themselves with them.
That's true.
They had scurvy and other such things.
It's the Wild West if it was run by the Three Stooges, perhaps.
Great. Just what the world needs.
Who are all? I know. Calgary Expo is happening like 2 weekends from now. And the Calgary Expo will be requiring masks, no proof of vaccination. Yet, well, we'll see. You know what? Things can change. I mean, it takes a while to implement these things. You know, we don't have a passport, quote unquote, here yet. You can show your records on a web page, I guess, from the official Alberta app to show that you've been vaccinated. But so I hope that would be nice if that was the case at Calgary Expo. Hint, hint, hint. I know that the sports teams across Canada, the Oilers, Flames, Canucks, everything else, are doing it as well. So, like, I've joked about it often. The corporations are going to be the one that save us because they're going to be the ones
terrifying.
Because they're more worried about like the loss of profits from people not coming or a breakout happening and then like having to cancel games and stuff or events lawsuits. And so, we're just going to institute a vaccine mandate. We don't have to worry about that anymore. So anyway, Dragon Con is another one. I can't remember if I mentioned that or not. That's also, you need proof of vaccination for that.
That's Atlanta, which is probably a little more contentious than Canada, generally speaking, in terms of anti-vaccination.
Georgia? Nah, Georgia's pretty straightforward. Come on.
Yeah. Okay. Worldcon, I believe, and DC Discon 3, which is happening in December. Usually happens in August, but it's happening in December. They are also requiring vaccines, I believe. I think I remember an email coming out about that 2 or 3 weeks ago.
I do believe so, yes.
Yeah, so it seems to be the way of things. It seems to be the... I know that there's a big Trek convention. Ken Deep, I saw on Facebook, posted photos and stuff, and some of the great cosplay that was happening down there was the stuff that sort of swept the internet, but I did notice that everyone is in masks. I don't know if they were also had to be... have been vaccinated. I think that was kind of relatively early on. That might even be before the FDA approval of.
This is just me talking, but Star Trek fans generally are not stupid and care about each other. So probably most of them were vaxxed.
I learned. Speaking of the speaking of Discon of Worldcon, I learned the other day that apparently Hugo, can't remember his last name.
Weaving.
After whom the Hugo Awards are named,
goes back.
Disagreed with a lot of the early Hugo Awards, deeming them not science fiction.
Really? Whoa!
Are you saying that nerds had differing opinions and argued about things? Because I find that hard to believe.
Apparently, yes. Yeah.
Wow.
Shocking. I know.
That's weird. Well, I tell you what, Hugo Gernsback probably didn't have, but I've got 5 of awards named after him.
I was going to say, transmitted diseases of some sort?
No,
we had plenty of those.
Yeah.
Even hysterical pregnancy?
Yeah.
Yes, a little bit.
Tuberculocusts. Wow, that's the worst ever. I've got tuberculocusts.
Killer hornets move over.
Anyway, long story short, not really short at all, is that conventions are masking up. I remember when Sean Lyon, when he said the Gallifrey 2022 is happening, but we'll probably be in masks. That was like in the spring, and I was thinking, oh, come on. That'll be over by then. We'll all be vaccinated. More sticks, fewer carrots, basically. This is what these mandates are all about. Trying to implore, if not force, people to get vaccinated if they want to carry on doing the fun things that we've always done. Remember
Steven,
fun?
my freedom.
Yes, remember fun things like going to conventions and waiting for too long in airport lounges and stuff. Oh, those are the days.
Too many selfish people are ruining it for the rest of us.
They really are.
You mentioned the corporations will save us, and a lot of companies are requiring vaccinations for all staff. And I can't remember which one it was. Some airline announced that if you choose to not get vaccinated, you can still, show regular negative COVID tests.
Right.
Is that Delta, I think, maybe?
Might have been. I can't remember. But they're jacking up their insurance premiums $200 a month to cover
was Delta. It was
said
Delta.
tests.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely was. So, yeah, they're making it inconvenient because it's easier to take the vaccine. And then you're done with it. And then you're
Especially
fine.
a vaccine that nobody is charging for.
It's free. It's a free
At
vaccine.
least in
Here's
this
your
part of the
cure.
world, I should
Right
say.
here. The end of the pandemic is right there. A little vial. You just have to inject it into your system.
That's what I thought at the end of Wave 3. But nope. Here we
No.
are. Wave 4. Wave 4 with some places like Florida recording record numbers. Yeah.
Bravo.
Nice. Christopher Eccleston, stay safe when you're in Florida.
Oh my God. Yeah.
in their
Jeez. That's right.
Just stay in
I
like
forgot
a tube or something. Cryogenically freeze him.
Just freeze. Just bring them out for the panel. Bring them on.
Bubble.
Like they're
a
in
giant plastic bubble.
they're in pods like Spinal Tap during Rock and Roll Creation.
Exactly. Yes.
And and then Nigel's stuck in it for the whole time, and not Nigel. Derek Smalls is stuck
Derek
in it until the
Smalls,
very end. Yeah. This is Spinal Tap. Great film, by the way. You haven't seen it. Think of it.
I watched because I guess we're talking about things like that now. I watched the Anvil movie.
That's
I've heard of
good.
that.
And
heard of that.
Not that far, not that long ago, and yeah, it's when that first came out 15 or whatever years ago, I had no idea it was based on an actual band.
Yeah, apparently it is.
It's not just based; it is an actual band.
Yeah. Because I think of things like Spinal Tap or whatever, which is all made up, which have like Spinal Tap obviously has toured as Spinal Tap and as a Folksman since the movie, but I did not know Anvil was a real thing. I'm a bad Canadian, apparently.
That's right. I don't remember any songs that they did.
Nope.
I'm not sure I remember that. I know.
That's the whole point of the documentary is they never really hit it big here or in the States, but they kind of did at other
Japan.
places.
Yeah.
Japan a little bit. But like the movie opens with concert footage. I'm like, wow, that's some great green screen. Nope, that's the actual concert.
The actual proper concert. Anvil. Anyway, there's your COVID frustration convention masking update, I guess, whatever that segment is. But hey, let's look at Doctor Who in the pre-pandemic era. How about by taking a trip in the old Timelash? This is an exciting week in Doctor Who history, everyone. Yeah, because seasons are getting underway. For instance, The Leisure Hive, 19. If we're in the 41st, I remember last year I started watching season 18, one episode per week on the anniversary of its original broadcast. That seems like just yesterday that I did that. It's officially a year ago, starting on August 30th. With The Leisure Hive. Oddly enough, August 31st, actually, the second scene of The Leisure Hive began after that day-long pan of the beach to begin that episode.
It does go on quite some time.
Go on for a bit. Into the Dalek aired April 30th, 2014. Peter Capaldi's second story. That was the Ben Wheatley episode with that cool Dalek battle at the end there. That's a good episode.
Yes, yeah.
Remember that? Yeah.
I do
I
now.
remember watching the Carmago versions too.
Oh,
I really regretted that actually.
I never watched those. Never watched those.
I might have.
Do I have those somewhere? I don't. I think I have.
Actually, because
I don't know if I have them.
as we talked about last week, Deep Breath, when it aired, I was at your place, Warren, because I was in Vancouver at the time.
Oh, yes.
And I remember I think it was after we recorded RFS, I downloaded the Camargo version of Listen.
Oh, that's right.
On your internet.
I am very glad I never watched the Carmago. Great, so thank you for telling the cops, whoever they may be, exactly which network you were using when you grabbed said file. Anyway, I just remember watching the second one going, I'm kind of disappointed by this. I really ruined this for myself. I'm not going to do that with the next ones, and I'm glad I didn't, because Listen is great, and I'm really glad I didn't watch it in some chopped together black and white form with a big watermark on it.
And with missing, not that there's much footage, not much like CG or special.
Well, that kid under the blanket, if it is a kid under the blanket, is definitely CG.
Oh. Damn. I never watched those. I never watched any one of them.
Nope.
Well, you're smarter than us.
Yeah.
I remember watching a few minutes of Deep Breath, maybe kind of like skipping through here and there for the episode, but I never watched any of them start to finish.
Pretty sure I watched Into the Daleks from start to finish, and I was very sad about it.
I'm sure you probably have them on a hard drive, Chris, somewhere. Maybe we'll talk after recording.
Go to Chris's place, Cops, not me.
Yeah.
I probably do. I don't know. I haven't looked for a long time.
I'm kind of intrigued to watch those after all these years, having successfully resisted watching them at the time. But did you also know that next week this coming week rather, is September? Yeah, September.
What? That's a lie.
I know.
Did you mention Terror of the Zygons?
Did I? No, I didn't. Go ahead. Mention Terror of the Zygons. I totally skipped over
Terror of the Zygons.
That's right.
There's a mention.
Good work, everyone.
That began on the 30th as well.
Part of the busiest year in Doctor Who history, more or less, because it was 1975 and season 12 had aired, and then they decided let's move to the fall for season 13, and so they had to bump Terror of the Zygons off the end of season 12 and on to the beginning of 13. The previous Sunday, or whatever day it was, Doctor Who, Tom Baker was on Disney Time doing links in between cartoons and stuff, and then at the very end it says, oh, I've just got a call for the Brigadier, I gotta go back. So technically that Disney Time appearance is canon. 100% canon.
Sure.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
There it is. It's on the DVD.
It's a very Dalek heavy week as well, because we have both Destiny and Asylum kicking off
the same
their
day.
respective series.
I know.
7B, whatever, 7A rather, whatever.
Were there Daleks from Destiny of the Daleks that actually showed up in Asylum of the Daleks? Because they had a lot of Daleks.
It wouldn't surprise
me.
me.
They had every Dalek in Asylum.
Well, I mean like actual physical props, not just
that I don't know.
Canonical Daleks. But
that sounds like a Terry Nation Army question.
That's true. Oh, I look forward to this. It's been a long time. I don't think they've put out an episode in this entire pandemic. I'm kind of disappointed about that. Terry Nation Army. Dalek 6388. Yeah, I'm looking at you, Gav.
Do more work for my benefit. Hurry up.
I know. I really like them. I've watched through their entire series at least twice.
Yes, because you don't watch anything else.
I don't watch anything else. I'm only watching Doctor Who and Blake 7 right now. I don't care.
Didn't you say once you won't watch anything from this century?
Except for Doctor Who.
Except Doctor Who. But even then,
Star Trek.
Even then,
no, you won't watch Star Trek either.
No, I know. I've been watching. I finished TNG, and it wrapped up in '94.
That's not from the century, though.
Not at all. Not at all.
Yeah.
I'm just enjoying it too. I'm just enjoying watching old Doctor Who. Okay. We all get to watch things we enjoy, right?
Nope, not you. You specifically do not.
Yes, yes, we do.
Thank you.
Yesterday, as we were making supper, Kat said, I think I want to watch the moon base. I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
What a great thing, isn't it? Isn't it just like, let's just watch an episode of Doctor Who, and they just watch it.
That's apparently her favorite Cyberman story.
Is it really?
This is what we dreamed of as children, where you just call this stuff up whenever you wanted to.
I know.
Now I generally don't.
I do, all the time. I'm in the midst of the Space Museum, by the way, right now, in case you're wondering where I am on my 3-year-long trek to get to
Say hello to Jeremy Bullock.
He's not in it yet. At least he hasn't spoken, because I've only just watched episode 1 at time of recording. But I'll be done it by the time this episode comes out, pretty much. Wow. Also happening during that week in 1979 was that ITV was on strike for about 6 or 7 weeks, and so Destiny of the Daleks got some pretty good ratings, like 15, 16 million, I believe, kicking off, because they only had BBC
well, when
to
your
go
only
up against.
competition is not on the air, then yeah.
Yeah. So you could either watch BBC 2, I don't know what was on BBC 2 at the time, or BBC 1.
Thank God for the height of disco and the Mavellans being in Destiny.
Listen,
Destiny of the Daleks.
Don't you tell me you weren't excited about seeing the Mavellans in modern Doctor Who. for 2
I
seconds.
was.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I was very excited.
Far more so than in Destiny of the Daleks.
Well, yeah, true.
Yeah. Some of my earliest memories is watching Destiny of the Daleks. Not in
There's some
1979.
great gags in there. It's Douglas Adams, so it's not all bad.
It is.
It's so good.
Nothing more Douglas Adams than, the Doctor is trapped under the thing, pulls out the book about the history
That's
of the
right.
universe and says it's wrong. That's as DNA as it gets.
Speaking of iconic starts to seasons, oh goodness me, the Tomb of the Cybermen and the Reboss operation on the same day, separated by 11 years. Wow. I love both of those stories, but then I love all of Doctor Who, so it's fine by me.
If you had a time machine, you'd go back to those separate dates to watch it on the same day, rather than just calling them up one after the other on BritBox, which you could do right now.
I could do, but you know what? You couldn't go back anytime before 1992. You can go watch them unless you're watching the original broadcast.
Well, that's why you have a time machine, you see.
Yeah, because for those of you Doctor Who fans who are like, I don't know, younger than 30, you didn't actually grow up in a world where the Tomb of the Cybermen was missing for all this time. So lucky you. Now we can enjoy.
That makes me feel older than talking about old Doctor Who. Good, gravy.
Yep.
I think I heard about the discovery of a tomb at a Baka meeting, Warren.
Baka, what is that? Like a sort of like
Bonsai Anime Club of Alberta.
Club.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Early 90s shame. There you go. Email me if you really want to know, people. Don't email me.
Where did I learn about it? Because I was not on the internet back then. I must have got Doctor Who magazine. That must have been where I probably.
I think that's where
read
I
about it.
found out about it, despite this Baka thing.
That's probably it. And then I know that KSPS showed it in 1990, like in June
With
of
pledge
92. Yeah, with pledge
We all
breaks and
cringed about Toberman even then.
Yeah, a little
That
bit.
was their Doctor Who day, having aired that, and then Resistance is futile, useless, whichever it is.
Yeah.
And then something else afterward, I think.
Oh, don't let me consult my personal records because I will do it. But
I can't remember if there was more Doctor Who after. I want to say there was. I think
I do remember watching that, but I don't.
I think they showed.
That's right, everybody. You tuned in to hear us talk about something that happened 30 odd years ago on our local, in quotes, PBS station.
This is what happens when Doctor Who is not on the air. This is what happens when Doctor Who is on the air.
I know it's kind of it's kind of tragic in a way that like, oh, by the way, Chibnall and Whittaker are leaving and everything, and then and then it's just like it's just a vacuum again. For what it's worth, that was August 22nd, 1992 on KSPS Spokane. Resistance is Useless started, followed by Tomb of the Cybermen, followed by the first 4 parts of Trial of a Time Lord. That sounds, to quote the return of season 2 of a Neil Perryman podcast, like a perfect night in. That's what that is right there. Yeah, because that was a hell of a night. I love Resistance Useless, even though I can't say it. Tomb, I know people says, oh, it came back and it's crap and stuff like that. No, it's not really crap.
Good. There's some great bits in it. The little talk Second Doctor does to Victoria, it's phenomenal.
The cliffhanger to episode 2 is one of the greatest ever. And then the Trial of a Time Lord comes on. Oh, for crying out loud. You and your modern television and your film and whatnot.
And your lens flares.
Lens flares and your
Netflixes.
I know. We didn't have those in those days and we didn't need it.
Nope.
Didn't need it.
I remember Yadley pledged some insane amount of money to KSPS that day. As a challenge to other people from the
really?
Doctor Who club to
Challenge rejected.
to match his endeavor.
Besides, I give them money now. I can't even watch it. I give them money now.
I know.
So, yeah.
I do too. I think it was when they premiered Remembrance of the Daleks, which is when I got one of the 3 Doctor Who scarves they had. And it cost me like, I think it was like $180 or $200, which at the time I'm like 13 or 14, and that's inflation. That is $2.6 million today with inflation.
Your math might be a little off.
And I paid that to get a Doctor Who scarf. The official BBC Lionheart 1987 is what the copyright on the tag. I, of course, still have that scarf because how could I possibly get rid of that?
Just a little thing about Lionheart. There are a couple people that to this day after our live show will stay to the end just to see the old Lionheart logo. And I salute these people. That's
why we have it.
I would do
there.
that if I was in the
That's why we
audience.
have it. That's why we have
That's
it.
why it's there.
Oh, God, newer fans, I'm so sorry. I'm really sorry about this complete nostalgia trip. We're all over it, though. Localized nostalgia trip.
It's just, basically, it's the 3 of us.
Yeah.
I remember having a bunch of people from the local fan club over to watch Tomb, etc.
Oh, really? On August 22nd, 1992. Wow.
Yeah.
Pull up close because this TV is 20 inches.
Yeah, we all got to crowd around.
It probably was.
Yeah. Wow. It was giant. 20 inches wide and like 20 inches like deep as well. Like that's how big these things
And I'm just looking at my smaller TV, which is a 32-inch TV in my office, and it looks tiny.
I know. Yeah. Also, the Reboss operation, which I understand is fairly underrated, so we won't talk about it much here.
Yeah, let's not.
Horror of Fang Rock, Terrence Dix's like basically his backup episode. He goes on, which is basically one of the greatest Doctor Who
Let me
stories
pull
of all
this
time.
one out of my back pocket. Here you go.
There it is. There you want
it is.
this?
No big deal.
Set in a lighthouse. I don't know. Is it good? I don't know.
Starring the guy from Enemy of the World. You know, it's all good.
Colin Douglas. Yeah, it's great stuff. Horror Fang Rock kicked off season 15. So look at that. We got a whole bunch of season openers here. September, early September is when it happened. Night Terrors there. That didn't start a season off. But Mask of Mandraga also kicked off season 14. Boy, like they worked
I
Doctor
love
Who.
Mask of Mandragora. It takes a lot of crap, but I love it.
Does it take a lot of crap? I don't know if it takes crap as much as indifference. At least that's what I often
Well,
get.
either way, they're wrong.
Yeah.
There are times these days, despite having seen both of them more times than I can count, I still conflate Andrews of Tara with Mask of Mandragora or something.
really?
That's my Paradise Towers and the other one, Happiness Patrol.
Yeah.
I don't know if I see that. I mean, I get it. It's like there's Renaissance Italy and then Space Renaissance Italy in Tara. But apart from that, maybe because I hold Tara up to such a high regard.
Yes, and in my case, there's Camp Crap and even Camper Crap.
Right.
See, and I don't greatly care for Andrews of Tara, so
I quite love it.
It's
then
quite funny.
I was weaned on the Key to Time season, so very high regard for that one. Which I'm sure we'll get to later on in other issues of the time. I'm sure we'll even wax more poetically about them good old days with Doctor Who in the 1980s, back before you kids ruined it.
They didn't at all.
It didn't at all. Made it much better. Much better indeed. Right. Onwards and upwards. Speaking of Terrence Dicks, it's out now. We announced that we reported on it a while back. The Essential Terrence Dicks. These were 10 different novelizations across 2 volumes, written by Terrence Dicks, and included one giant collaboration.
voted on by the fans.
It was voted on by the fans. That's right. I forget which 10 stories are in this box set, but they're out now. A whole bunch of them. They came out on Thursday, August the 26th. So there, you can get them. Links in the show notes. You can read all about them. You can order the book. You can buy the book. It's kind of cool. It's kind of cool that they did this as a tribute to one Terrence Dicks. Yeah, I don't. The Radio Times had a special excerpt of it because some writers also like Frank Cottrell Boyce is in there singing about things and stuff.
I think Robert Webb does the intro for Volume 2 or something.
Yeah, a lot of people.
Dalek Invasion of Earth, Abominable Snowmen, Wheel in Space, Auton Invasion,
Wheel in Space,
also known as not Auton Invasion in broadcast terms.
No.
Day of the Daleks, Genesis of the Daleks, Pyramids of Mars, Talons of Wang Chang, Horror of Fang Rock, and the Five Doctors.
Nice. Gotta get the Five Doctors in there. Yeah.
At least he got some of the stories he wrote. He got to novelize, thankfully, and have them included in this.
It would have been kind of funny had Terrence Dicks not novelize his own episodes. That'd be kind of funny.
It'd be a little
actually.
weird, yeah.
No, but funny, haha, like I read everyone else's but not my own. Like put Ian Martyr on that
I'm
one.
sick of this. Well,
I know. I already
reminds
wrote
me
it
of how in
once.
Ready Player One, Spielberg said, "You can have all the stuff you want in this, but nothing that I've directed, except for a dinosaur that the Warner Brothers forced upon him, apparently."
Oh, really? Oh.
Yeah. But he insisted that you couldn't. Now here's why I jump off into a complete side story about how I got a new T-shirt that says "Ken Russell the Devils," but it's in the Marvel style of a movie poster, and the Devils is a 1971 sex, violence, and Catholic Church movie that is still controversial to this day. But Space Jam: A New Legacy, they have access to all these different Warner characters. So some insane person decided to put the nun from the Devils into the crowd in Space Jam: A New Legacy. And that nun, who's an extra, bought the same T-shirt I have because she thought it was hilarious. So there you go.
That is a series of deep dives that I don't actually know about.
It's brilliant. I just love that somebody who played the nun from this obscure movie that nobody remembers anymore went to the trouble of getting this joke T-shirt from a guy locally. And I also did.
Crazy.
If you haven't looked, Stephen, the Dick's hardcover volumes are available in Amazon Canada for only $53 and change each. So $107 for the pair.
That's a lot.
Plus
still, it's Terrence Dicks.
It's a lot, but it's tempting.
Yeah, it's kind of actually.
I mean, I've got them all on my bookshelf for the actual Target ones, but
that's true.
But you could say the same of the DVDs, my friend. So
yeah,
I've got those too.
Yeah. I'm sure
you're still buying Blu-rays, so it's kind of the same thing.
I am still buying Blu-rays.
Yeah. I'm
still waiting for September whatever for season 24.
September 24th, I think, is the day.
And I know better. I've discovered that I have something 21st? On ebook that I just bought on paper. So numerous times I've done that.
Yeah.
I mean, how many times? Like you talk about DVDs, Blu-rays, whatever. How many times did you buy whatever? Because we're old enough to have done this.
Yeah.
Buy something on vinyl. Buy something on vinyl. Buy something on cassette. Buy something on CD. And then probably digital download.
I know that.
I don't know how many times I've paid for certain like Beatles albums, for example.
It's funny that I feel like maybe I do that out of sympathy with my past selves regarding Doctor Who, and that like nowadays I buy a new series of Doctor Who on iTunes so I can have a decent copy the day after original broadcast, and then I buy the Blu-ray anyway. So like I buy it twice. I buy the show twice.
Mm-hmm.
I do.
That's actually pretty moderate for you, Steve.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Series 11 and 12, I haven't bought Blu-rays or anything, but I bought the iTunes versions. But I also waited for them to be like $10 for the whole series.
Yeah. Sometimes I like to buy things out of convenience. I bought the entire trilogy, the extended trilogy of the Lord of the Rings films on iTunes purely so I didn't have to change discs halfway through.
Oh, yeah.
I bought the theatrical and superior editions of the Lord of the Rings films off iTunes because they were $30 for all three. And then discovered when I got a 4K Apple TV, they are in fact in 4K if you have a 4K Apple TV. And I'm like, ha $30, grand.
Well done. Those are coming up. I'm watching those come the 20th anniversary too, because the 20th anniversary of the release of the first Lord of the Rings film, kids, is coming up.
I've also gotten to the point now where something's not on streaming. I'm like, well, I'm spending $15 that I'll show you. So I bought Spartacus for that very reason, because it was 4K and it was $15. Okay, I can't get anyway, so why not?
Take that Prime Video.
I do think you'll find, Warren, that the extended cut of The Two Towers is superior.
It's so good.
There's a bit of interesting stuff about Faramir, and that's it.
Well, enjoy your shorter watch time then of the film.
I will, because they're superior films.
Shorter movies for shorter people.
Name a good director's cut. You can't, because there aren't any.
Star Wars, obviously, 1997.
Boom.
Yes, and also, what has my height got to do with anything?
I know.
Nothing.
I don't know.
Chris would watch a 16-hour version of it. Going by that argument, I don't watch a 16-hour version of a movie.
Have you watched the I guess director's cut, whatever, of Godfather, like that 7-8 hour?
No, the chronological one. No, I was like, it's enough of your self-indulgent nonsense, Coppola.
I spent a Sunday watching that once.
Oh,
I don't know if it was worthwhile, but I enjoyed it.
Speaking of watching things in chronological order, by the way, Terrence Dicks now available. I just want to end that so we can move on to the next thing once we're done, whatever this is. I saw someone say we got to do the only Doctor Who pilgrimage I'm interested in doing, this person said, is to watch all the Doctor Who episodes in chronological order, not when they're released. When they're set.
And when the events were set, yeah.
That's
when they're set.
I've seen people do that with Marvel, too.
That would take a lot, though, because...
So does that mean you have to watch Unearthly Child 2, 3, and 4
exactly
before 1?
I think you do. I think you do.
Fans are insane. That's
right?
enough.
And then you have to, like, I'm just thinking, like, how many Moffat episodes bounce around for... ever. Like there's a lot of, I think you have to sort of say, where is it mostly set, or when, like when's Listen set, that bounces around, but ends in the far future.
At the end of the universe.
What about City of Death? I mean,
City of Death.
Around, but
that's a tough thing to do. Okay, you know what? I'm glad we had this talk because I was seriously considering doing that. And
Oh,
it
God,
just sounds,
come on, Steven, get a hold of
sounds like
yourself.
I wasn't seriously, but that take a lot of work.
You kind of were a little bit, I'm sure.
I'm sure TARDIS Wikia probably has click here to sort through all the episodes in story order and
I can think of better ways. I can think of a few better ways to waste my life than watching Doctor Who. But even I have my limits on this.
I know. There's a spreadsheet floating around, which hasn't been updated for some years, but there's it's floated. It resurfaced quite recently because of this whole thing.
Right.
That has all
killed the spreadsheet owner.
That has all the chronological dates for things.
I do like that. Doctor, I mean, if you wanted to do this, you are literally covering the very beginning of the universe and the very end. Probably multiple times over.
Okay, well, here's another wrench to throw in this bad boy. What about when they reboot the universe at the end of the Big Bang? What do you do then?
What do you do then?
But that's not the end of the time scale, though. I was going to say,
are
that's
you
not
trying
the
to
end of
apply
time,
rationality and logic to this? Because good luck.
Because like if you take something like. If you sort something by the oldest or the newest,
my head hurts just thinking about this.
Then that means you got to have City of Death as the very first thing you watch because it has the genesis of life on Earth.
Life on Earth, but not the universe, though.
So do you have to watch?
Okay, so Terminus.
We're talking Event 1, Big Bang, Castrovalva, Episode 1. That's where you're looking at.
Castrovalva, then Terminus, then
only parts of Castrovalva, though. Only see, this is so difficult. You can't do it. You cannot do it with a time travel show.
No, because like you said before, you kind of have to pick.
You have to pause it
arbitrarily, almost like when story X took place.
Yeah, like TARDIS leaves it, and then like here's the fun thing. What you would do though is that come when you get to July 20th, 1966 in your little timeline, you get 3 TVs and you watch Evil of the Daleks and you watch War Machines and you watch Faceless Ones all at the same time.
I can't believe I'm saying this because I'm the last person to take this advice, but go outside for God's sakes.
Yeah.
You gotta throw Earthshock in there because that's 65 million years back.
That's true. Only the end, though. You only see Adric die. You just like queue it up.
Laugh track.
65 million years ago, there's Adric, and he's dead. Okay, next episode.
I have to agree. The laugh track is brilliant. I have never laughed as hard as when I watched that. I am a terrible human being. All right. Anyway.
Anyway, big finish. Big finish stuff. Hey, speaking of Russell T Davies, we were not his first ever Doctor Who script, Mind of the Hodiak, which he found buried between a couple mattresses or something, and he hauled out during one of those lockdown viewings that Emily Cook put on during the early glorious days of the pandemic. And he realized, holy crap, I have a script here. And then Big Finish took it, obviously, and has adapted it. This was announced a while, but now the episode itself is finally available for pre-order for March of 2022, when we should be in about wave 6 of the pandemic, I think.
6.5.
That's true.
Zombie edition.
Coming out then with starring...
Sixth Doctor wave?
Yes. Oh, I see what you did there. Colin Baker and Bonnie Langford, of course, are here because that's who were Doctor Who and companion at the time of Russell's first writing of this back in 1966. So there.
The Dickities. What a decade that was.
It was a good decade. So there. That's available for pre-order. Out now from Torchwood is Empire of Shadows. Torchwood Empire of Shadows with
Sean Parks.
Sean Parks. The thing of Zachary Cross Flane, of course, his character from
I love because offhandedly he says Torchwood in one line of that story. All of a sudden he's a Torchwood guy.
I am Torchwood.
That's because that was the through line for all of
I know, but it was a bit of a stretch, frankly. But okay.
A little bit. Is it as much of a stretch as modern day Ace showing up on Torchwood? Well, that's what's happening in Torchwood, the Red List, coming out November 2021.
The unspoken mission statement of Big Finish is that every companion and everybody else will meet everybody else at some point. And once that has happened, a century from now, Big Finish will implode into a singularity and take the universe with it.
That's true. I feel like the Ace, I don't know if this is the case, but remember the, was it the trailer for the season?
It was a bit of VAM, right? Yeah.
The 26, the trailer for season 26, where they have Ace as like modern day Ace. And she's like talking about her time on Earth and stuff ever since she left the Doctor.
Which was really cool, I gotta say.
It was cool. It was Pete McTighe wrote that joint. And then future showrunner Pete McTighe. And,
maybe.
And I get the impression that this Ace appearance in Torchwood, because she's basically as Dorothy McShane, she's no longer really Ace anymore, is that it all stemmed from that one bit of essentially fanfic to announce the arrival of a Blu-ray set. I wouldn't be surprised. It's kind of cool though. I like it when they're not like Ace isn't playing a 16-year-old. I mean, she's older than that now, obviously. So it's kind of cool for her to be able to play Ace today, which is kind of neat. So anyway, that's coming out November of 2021, which is this year. Not that far away, actually.
I keep forgetting it's this year.
It's already gone. Like we're already into September.
I'm still in 2020, mentally speaking.
I know. Yeah, still writing your checks. With 2020 in there.
Yes,
all the checks that you write.
That's exactly what I'm doing.
Yeah. Last bit of news. Speaking of Terry Nation Army, Dalek 6388, the cat who does the music for those videos is Graham Allen. And for years, he's been sitting on this and only just now decided to trot it out for the internet to enjoy. He made an orchestral arrangement.
It's actually good.
Using synthesizers and stuff, but still, like an orchestral style of the K9 and Company theme.
It's great, actually.
It's great. He puts a bit of reverb on it. You can imagine it being recorded in a concert hall of some sort. If you watch the video, links in the show notes on radiofreescott.com, you can just imagine it, as I said to him on Twitter, this should have been in the 50th anniversary concert at the Royal Albert Hall, because that would have been amazing.
It caused such cognitive dissonance, though, because you're watching the opening titles, crap is coming. Oh, the Company isn't that bad, honestly. Yeah. It's just that opener. And then you hear this music, and you're like, oh, this is majestic. What the hell? Mm-hmm. What do I do with this in my brain?
I know. He also after he posted that early last week, he also went on to do a slight re-edit of the opening title sequence. Instead of just having like Liz Sladen jog on the spot and stuff like that, she had actually put like clips of the episode in question into that title sequence with the original theme. And then someone says, oh, you should do this with the orchestral version. Oh, I already did. And so there's another version out there as well. So
good stuff.
Talent and fandom, I tell you, when they meet, sometimes they make some fun nonsense in this world. And it makes us laugh, which is great, which is what we need here during all these waves of pandemics that we seem to be cycling through.
It's not a laugh.
There's 813 episodes of us.
Yeah, 1813. So hope you enjoyed it so far, folks. It gets better even from here. After the break, it's our classic series commentary for State of Decay, Part 3.
Condenser, most merciful. We're looking forward to excellent duodecaphonic sound.
This is the moment when I get a real feeling of job satisfaction.
Welcome back to the Doctor Who Radio Free Skaro Doctor Who Classic Series Commentary Series. Just give it its full proper name. State of Decay. Part 3, everyone. Hope you've kept your legally purchased Blu-rays all paused in your Xbox Ones or your Blu-ray player, or perhaps on your Apple TV or other streaming device, whatever you're watching this on. We're about to watch Part 3. So here we go, everyone. State of Decay, Part 3. In 3, 2, 1, play. So we left off with a close-up of Akon, which I feel we're not going to see in the reprise.
No, we won't. For union reasons, probably.
Yeah, I'm thinking it was only a cliffhanger shot.
Did Peter Howell ever go into the BBC canteen and refer to himself as the Howl Around?
I think the Howl Around has been thrown around a little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
In various different documentaries or something, I think they've probably called him the Howl Around effect, actually. I think there's probably one on a DVD called that.
Mm-hmm. Probably.
Yeah. Sounds familiar. It's my favorite of all the 80s Radiophonic Workshop composers.
Rhythmic Throbbing. That's my new wave band from the 1980s.
You just did OMD covers, though, didn't you? I mean...
except
there's always something there to remind
you. They were synthesized movements in the dark, not orchestral.
Ah! SMD. Corn.
You are correct. That is not what happened. The end of Part 2 is not this bit here.
No, we missed it. Yeah, we totally missed it. It's played different. It probably scored differently too. I can't quite hear it, but I remember as a kid, because for the most part, I only ever saw the omnibus versions, and so but I knew that there were probably cliffhangers, and so I would still look to try to pick them out, but I never paid that much attention to it. So whenever people ask me, "Oh, do you remember what episode of Doctor Who that's in?" Like, still my memory of what happens in what individual episodes is pretty hazy.
I mean, at least you can kind of, think back to like what chunk of the story is from and kind of make a guess of episode 1 or 2 or whatever.
Yeah, I guess so.
You're going to be wrong if it's, somewhere in the, in a cross, area, but.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it was commendable editing for the most part on the people who made the omnibus versions. I was never able to ascertain whether they came directly that way from BBC Lionheart or Worldwide, or if the individual PBS stations actually did it themselves. I have to think it was shipped that way from.
Oh, I gotta think so, just for consistency's sake.
BBC, yeah, because that's expecting a lot. I know for sure that the Hartnell ones, which only aired the one time around on KSPS at a time when I wasn't watching it, they had those, because I know that they sent those out still when YTV was picking them up in the early 90s, and they were horribly chopped up, as I recall. And the credits for a lot of them just had like stills, they weren't scrolling like they were just like the wrong font, and they were like chopped up, and they like eliminated the cliffhanger to the next story, which happened a lot, of course, in the Hartnell days. Huh. So those are weird episodes. I kind of wish I would have kept those on VHS, actually.
That was the YTV stuff you said? That
was YTV stuff, yeah. But that came from BBC Lionheart, though. But I think they also made omnibus versions of Hartnell ones, too, which aired in the 80s, but I never saw those.
KSPS definitely aired omnibus Hartnell stuff, yeah.
Yeah, in 85 or 86, if I had my...
I have distinct memories of like taping, like, I don't know, Dalek Invasion of Earth or Gunfighters or whatever from KSPS.
Not me, because we didn't have our VCR until late 1986. That is
taping and failing. That was my mantra. Trying to tape something and screwing it up.
I know. Well, most of my memories
was my big thing.
Most of my memories of Doctor Who was because at this time, this is like Saturday night. My parents are probably watching something else, but I'm recording it on the other channel. Back in the day when you could basically record on one thing and then turn it on the TV source and turn it to another channel. You could watch that. That's awesome. It's actually a good shot. Great. This here, that is not a bad shot. That quick little effect shot, which is basically done as live. So a lot of my memories are me quickly switching over just to make sure that Doctor Who's on and it's recording. And I would say, it's a commercial break. Can I just check to see if it's recording? Yeah, it's fine. And I'd flip over. And so I remember seeing like little bits here. I go, ooh, I don't know what's going on in this episode, but Kay and I just shot a guy. It's going to be great. Can't wait to watch this later tonight.
Kay shot the wall and somehow it was cut out before he shot.
Yeah. Your thirst for violence, and I'm no better because I left Colin-Baker's first season for this very reason.
Yeah.
Was quenched by Doctor Who of all things.
I know. I don't understand.
That's really going the long way around.
A show really is about pacifism and overthrowing the bad guy.
Yeah. And yet,
just not very good at violence, I say, compared to RoboCop or something.
No, but
or Blue Thunder. I don't know.
I know. When I was a kid, I thought science fiction meant laser gun battles because of Star Wars, and for some reason, that's what drew me to Doctor Who. Even and the weirdness and stuff too, but mostly it was the gun battles. And so there's when K9 massacres everyone in episode 4 in this. It was like, yes, this is awesome. Oh, happy days when I was 12. Ooh. That was a very seductive shoulder grab from Camilla on Romana there. At least that's what my headcanon's telling me.
I'm shipping it. I'm shipping the living hell out of it.
100%.
No, maybe. I think it's episode 4, isn't it?
Also, these three have been around for what, 2,000 years, 1,000 years? Every single permutation of romantic what have you has been done.
Yeah.
Or as I was said in Blackadder once by a bishop, I am a pervert, so I will do anything to anything. That's these three, I fear.
Well, I mean, how do you keep it fresh after 1,000 years?
Right.
That's like Battleship. That's not just a ship. That's a tanker is what that is.
Mm-hmm.
Heave to.
Hold hard. To answer your question, yeah, Stuart Fell, Chris, I think is in.
I can't remember if he's in 3 or 4.
Yeah, well, he's probably in 4 at the very least. But this is a cool choreographed thing. I like how they hand washing ritual, like the early days of COVID.
Remember COVID? Pepperidge Farms remembers COVID.
Oh boy, yeah, yeah. That's
Pepperidge Farms remembers COVID. Pepperidge Farm caused COVID.
Yeah.
Inside job.
Here's us just sitting around, sort of on the tail end, hopefully. But meanwhile, like a good chunk of the world still doesn't have vaccines going that much, including Australia. Smug Australia. They mostly didn't have COVID at all, so no one's getting vaccines. But guess what? If you want to leave your island, Australia, get a vaccine. Damn it! Maybe they already did by the time this comes out.
Unless it's to go to New Zealand.
That's true. Look at that. There's Stuart Phil. There he is.
Yeah.
Jester of the Year, 1993.
Yeah, this is his last Doctor Who appearance, I want to say.
I think you're right. Doesn't he show up as...
Oh, no, sorry.
A jester?
Visitation and 5 Doctors. He does stunts.
5 Doctors.
I can't remember if he was on screen for those, though.
He was on screen. He was the Cyberman with his head cut off because he's short. That I remember.
Okay. So you don't see his face.
You don't see his face. And you say he was in what? The other one? Visitation?
Visitation as a stuntman.
Oh, it must have been...
he was a fight arranger for this story.
Really? I don't remember any backflips from any dying monsters in...
And I forgot he played the Shrivenzel in Rebus Operation.
Which there was an episode where he literally played a jester. Was it Mask of Mandragora, maybe? Am I thinking? Or...
That would...
Like, I remember he's actually, like, breathing fire and stuff, because that's what he did.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he does still, I don't know. Anyway, Tom and Lala are in love here during these scenes, by the way. Clearly,
it's all very confusing.
Yeah, well.
It's a roller coaster ride, it tells you.
Oh, just imagine if you were on set and seeing, like, okay, are they fighting
today?
I
would not want to be the grip avoiding all that. Avoiding their eye lines. Should they lash out at me because they're actually angry at each other?
Like, they basically got married on a dare, God love them. It's like,
that always works out.
Like, you're leaving Doctor Who, so either we never see each other again or we get married. And that was it. That was the ultimatum. And so they got married for 18 glorious months.
Glorious, you say?
Well, it's about as long as COVID lasted, too, really, when you think about it. But
so far.
Yeah, Stuart Fell's going to go
past
flying.
People.
That's true. Cocky.
Stuart Fell, 79 years old. Still going.
Good work. Did a good fall there, as expected. I'm sure he shows up later on. I'm sure he gets shot by K9. God, Tom Baker knew how to hold a scene, just like Peter Capaldi does. I've compared Capaldi to season 18 Tom Baker a lot. I think that's the easiest comparison you can make. But just the way that he just like says nothing, but looks very austere while doing it. It must be fun as an actor doing a fight with a stunt guy, because you know that whatever you do to that stunt guy, he is going to act like you just threw him through a window. And so, like, I bet you Thane Bettany just sort of like, I'll just gently tap him on the shoulder. Ah! And Stuart Fell does a big backflip and dies.
Why wasn't Stuart Fell hired for Marvel? Why? Why ask you?
I don't know. Look at that. You are wonderful. Oh, it's sweet. Sweet and lovely.
Such a big smile.
I know. The guard's just
very confused.
This is very like he has no suspicion. Sure, looks like he's going to go in for a kiss, but honestly, after seeing what I've just seen, I am kind of up for this.
A little bit of panto there.
Yeah, it's good gag. It was a good gag. He plays it well.
I think Stuart Fell.
That's why he's named that. His real name is Stuart Felinski.
Of the Vegreville Felinskis?
Of the Vegreville Felinskis. You know them very well. They make superb pierogies. I had some pierogies the other night. Just cottage cheese. Pierogies, by the way, are
madness,
Ukrainian.
Utter madness.
I know, a lot of Ukrainian population in northern Alberta, everyone. So you can buy lots of Ukrainian food around. And indeed,
I always
some
liked
of
that their
us...
supreme hacker was 1,000,000 years old.
This guy Harry, I know. He's probably
Yeah.
he's probably like Bidmead. Bidmead's still like, he's in his 80s now, I think, too. Now he's hacking computers. This is Bidmead basically inserting himself into the story. That's him right there. Messing
That's a
with
Mary
old
Sue,
computers.
you're saying?
Yeah, a little bit. Yes.
I think
Chrissy
I think
B?
I think
Yeah.
the actual term is self-insert or self-insertion. Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds somewhat less, more dirty than
It doesn't
Mary Sue.
sound good. I don't want to say that anymore. I don't want to say self-insertion. That sounds awful.
Although Mary Sue has become with the, how do I put this gently, Star Wars / gamer intellectual class.
Oh, grand.
Just a thing they say about practically everything. Just like plot holes. What a plot hole! You mean a thing you didn't like?
Yeah.
Like, that's not a plot hole. Saying, hey, how could they do this if this happened?
Yeah.
Because that doesn't make any sense. That's
Like-
a plot hole.
'cause
Saying,
they
didn't do what I wanted him to is not a damn plot hole.
Right, exactly. Like maybe, you know what? Maybe somehow Palpatine did survive. That's all I'm saying.
No, that's just nonsense.
Technological rats living in a hole.
Stuff for you to possibly keep an eye open for, Warren. Stuart Fell has appeared in The Empire Strikes Back, the first two Superman films,
Oh, nice.
How was he in Empire?
Aliens, Who Framed Roger Rabbit. He's a professional juggler, member of the Magic Circle, and once appeared on Antiques Roadshow as an unnamed member of the public, demonstrating his collection of yo-yos, Diablos, and other conjuring toys.
What
I
an
don't know what
interesting
Diablo is.
fellow.
What I'm gonna say is I'm wondering if he's one of those guys in Hoth. That would be the most likely suspect for that or Cloud City, which presumably was shot in London.
Like I don't think he's not short enough to be a Nugnaught.
No,
But there's a
but
lot
like,
of
what are the big crowd scenes, right? That would, and where a guy would you need stunts? Probably Hoth.
stunt double uncredited. So maybe he was a stunt guy in Hoth, maybe or something in Norway. Yeah.
Kudos to them. Apparently, our friend Jeff Walker from the Goodies podcast did an interview with Stuart Fell in July of 2012.
Oh, awesome.
Episode
never
103 of the Goodies podcast.
Oh, well done. Stuart Fell. I wonder if that was locally recorded back in the days when people used to visit each other in real life.
IMDb, for what it's worth, Warren, just says uncredited stunt double.
Yeah, for
IMDb is not worth a hell of a lot.
5.
Again, good model.
No.
Pardon me.
Same goes for Superman and Superman 2, just like additional stunts, uncredited stunts.
If it's a backflip, though, if you see anyone doing a backflip, Stuart Fell. So I'm gonna watch
12
those.
Miss Tessmacher's stunt double. Yeah, got it.
Yeah,
12 episodes of Blake 7 as a stunt coordinator.
that makes sense.
Oh, okay. So he did several episodes of the Goodies. That would explain his presence on the Goodies podcast.
I was wondering about that.
As a stunt advisor.
Yeah. Oh,
Don't.
are we
That was mostly most of his. Yeah, Dad, don't bother.
are we setting up one of my favorite scenes here, or is it later on?
You said episode 4 had your favorite scene.
Well, then again, I wasn't sure about episodes. Remember, so it could be 3.
I do remember this
Probably
being
is
pretty
3.
cool.
Yeah, we'll get to it. It's not happening yet, but I am noticing that this is one of the last stories. I think that Tom Baker wears his shoes as designed by June Hudson before he brings, I think, his own boots back that he had from season 16 and 17, which he liked. He didn't like the shoes at all. And because they're his own boots, he takes them with him at the end of season 18, which makes for a massive continuity error in early days of Castrovello, because Peter Davison takes his shoe off in the TARDIS, but in fact, Tom Baker was wearing boots when he regenerated. So
I can never watch this show again. I'm going to turn off right now.
well, it's
That's
just like
unforgivable.
it's like when Troughton is wearing a new outfit as soon as he regenerates from William Hartnell. So there's obviously dramatic precedence for this. So you can explain it away.
Blood group separator.
Boom. I don't think
What a
that was
career that would be.
a stunt double. Who was that cat?
I appreciate how the Hydrax has ramps for wheelchair use and
It is
accessibility
nice.
options.
It is nice. It's not often in Doctor Who sets that you see that. Could have so easily been stairs, especially in those days. I don't know who that guard was. Is that Zoldaz? Is that his name? Because he seems familiar to me. Every time I watch the show, I think, oh, who's that guy? He looks familiar. I'm going to say it's Stuart Blake as Zoldaz, which is a great name. Why did you waste that on a guard?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it was... I mean, that's the only time we've seen him, right? That guard.
I like how the high tech here is 2 telephone cables attached to, I think, K9's collar.
Yeah, pretty much. The guard, who we just saw got knocked out, I think is a commander in 5 Doctors. And then he played Skibus in Warriors of the Deep, which is like one of the major Silurian roles. So, how about that? Love learning stuff.
There
on
weren't
this
no
podcast.
major Sea Devil roles in that one. So.
No, there weren't. Oh,
I love how impatient it is with K9. I just had it with his nonsense.
Mm-hmm. You never effing know the answer when it's important.
I like the bat at the head of the bed.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to call that.
Their cot, their slab.
I think slab works, sure.
Yeah. It's uncomfortable for what it's worth.
I mean, they're not in coffins or sarcophagi.
I only ever watched, I'm not usually a watcher of vampire films, but I did remember watching Francis Ford Coppola's Dracula.
Mm-hmm. Great movie.
And finding it rather intriguing, if I may say. And I was...
What do you mean?
I was reminded of it because Rachel Stott tweeted about it a few weeks ago, or a couple weeks ago, as of time of recording. Think, oh, here's the moment when I realized I was gay, and she, throws some screen grabs of some lovely ladies on screen, thinking,
oh, that's the 3 vampire ladies, yes,
yeah. That is interesting that we had similar reactions to this movie, but.
I've been watching the TV show Hacks, which is quite funny. And there's a great line where the Gene Smart's manager, who's this gay guy, is introducing his new boyfriend to his mother. And it turns out the guy's mother and the new boyfriend are big wrestling fans. So he says, "Trish Stratus, that chest kept me in the closet for another year."
This is the scene, by the way. It's in episode 3. I love this. What I love about this scene is we're learning about the Great Vampire. Mm-hmm. If this was made today, there would be a flashback. There would be a giant battle scene. It would be told maybe with a voiceover or something. But it's 1980, and a dog has printed out a ticker tape, and Tom Baker is reading it on camera. It's on the TARDIS console, and the camera doesn't. We don't even cut. It's Tom Baker giving one performance, reading off this ticker tape,
looking off the screen there,
and it's riveting. It's riveting.
And
I love it to bits.
Put the camera up high, bring it down. Still going around the console. Yeah.
See, this reminds me of one of my favorite parts of Close Encounters, which is basically just all it is a bunch of air traffic controllers looking at consoles with radio stuff happening where somebody spotted a UFO, and that's all you see. Just these guys looking at consoles, and you hear reports from planes, and then the planes disappear and they come back, and it is exactly the same thing. Totally riveting. Yeah. Nothing's happening. Guys are looking at a monitor, but because of Spielberg, it's great.
I want to.
You don't need to show anything. And Spielberg himself would probably show a bunch of stuff now.
Yeah.
If he didn't want to, he'd probably be forced to.
That's I need to watch that movie again. I've only seen it once. I'm not sure Tom Baker was ever not at the height of his powers as Doctor Who. It's just
Remington Steele, he wasn't. How about
I think execs kind of knocked him down a few pegs this season, but
I know, but he's still
he's still a presence for sure.
It's such a different performance this season, but it's so good.
I mean, you talk about Emrys James and his Shakespearean performance. He's a big Shakespearean actor. But Baker's rivaling him, I gotta say.
Yeah. I mean, because Peter Capaldi does similar things, let's face it, as well. It doesn't seem any like more operatic or anything, but
I forgot Hedrick was in this.
I did kind of do, actually. I wonder if he's I probably was late edition because this is a script sitting around since 1977, and Terrence Dicks had to amend it, but because he's barely in this. Maybe that's why I like the story so much.
It's not like they're gonna give Tom Baker's lines to Hedrick.
I don't know if the original like script or anywhere is like available. Like I would be intrigued to see what it would be like, because that's obviously with Doctor and Leela and.
I mean, there's transcripts out there, but script, I don't know.
Yeah,
would it?
That's a shame.
Would it probably not be like in the PDF stuff on the season 18 Blu-ray?
I don't think so.
I'd have to look.
I'd
have to look.
You'd have to look. Well, good thing that I have it right here, but no, it's just the rehearsal script.
Ah, okay.
And the production documentation and the camera script as well. But this is one of the rare Doctor Who stories that had an audiobook version too, of course, come out. Tom Baker read the audiobook version of this. On cassette. Came out on cassette back in the day. But it's always good to hear Tom Baker read things in 1980 voice, Tom Baker, because, he still sounds great, but this is a very creepy cliffhanger. Knives and stuff. And it's not bloody. Not because we don't want to show blood, but because he's a vampire. Good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Good Doctor Who. Classic entertainment. Probably got like 4 million viewers or something back in 1980.
This episode got 4.4.
Bounty at this point.
4.4.
Yeah.
It was the lowest of the three by 1 million or 1.5 million, but
Yeah. Picks up for Warriors Gate. No, Full Circle, rather. No, wait, where are we?
This is episode 3.
Episode 3. No, I mean the story. I'm stuck in production order right now. Thinking, it's the second one. What do you mean? Oh, right. It's like literally fourth.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you have Leisure Hive, Pangloss, Full Circle in this.
Yeah, I know. I had the serial code 5P in my head the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Much to Warren's delight.
I'm thrilled to bits.
Yeah. Do love a good production code 5P.
Boy, oh boy, do I ever.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, no, I don't.
No, you don't. But it's handy when I'm saving these files as we record them. I just use the production code. It's very handy. Anyway, there you go. Episode 3 in the books. We have one more to go, folks. I'm enjoying this story. I hope you are too. Join us next time on Radio Free Skaro for the final episode, Part 4 of State of Decay on the Doctor Who Classic Series commentary. Until then, I am Stephen in Edmonton.
Warren in Vancouver.
Yeah, I'm Chris in Edmonton.
So long for now.
You've been listening to Radio Free Skaro. Find us online at radiofreeskaro.com. Follow us on Twitter and Tumblr at Radio Free Skaro. Subscribe to us on iTunes and donate to the show at patreon.com/Radio Free Skaro. Thank you.